Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour à tous, and welcome to this webinar on AI and FP&A technologies. It's a pleasure to have so many of you joining us today from diverse organizations. My name is Luca Guevramont, partner at ModelCom. For those of you who are not familiar with ModelCom, let's start with that. We are a specialized consulting firm based in Montreal since 1996. Focusing on financial modeling and FP&A activities. Over the past decade, we have developed a specific expertise in FP&A technology, implementation, and strongly advocate for AI-driven enhancement in FP&A processes. During this webinar, we will review artificial intelligence and its transformative impact on FP&A work, particularly how Vena Solutions has integrated AI into its platform. We have an exceptional lineup of speaker and expert. Firstly, Kaz Takamura, Managing Director of FP&A Technology at ModelCom. Kaz will discuss the rapid adoption of AI and its implication for FP&A activities. Then we'll have Jason Chen, Solution Consultant at Vena. Jason will provide an introduction to Vena Solution and its FP&A product. And finally, Anton Medvedev, Senior Product Manager at Vena. Anton will demonstrate Vena Copilot, which surely you will not want to miss, which is the AI tool integrated into FP&A solution. Please feel free to ask questions using the QA feature at the top of your screen. Thanks again for joining us. And without further delay, let's begin with our first speaker, Kaz.
Thank you, Luca. À tous ceux qui participent du Québec, je vous dis bonjour et bienvenue. Welcome to everyone on behalf of ModelCom and Vena. I would like to start off really by simply defining financial planning and analysis, or FP&A technology. So it's a technology that addresses the forward-looking business processes related to financial planning, the technology that addresses business processes related to analysis and reporting on current and past performance. And of course, today we're talking specifically about Vena Solutions that covers both sides of the equation and delivers the infrastructure to address the issues that spreadsheet-only processes can't. So many people these days are joining the AI conversation. It's really interesting to me to hear people's perceptions about AI, and I love seeing people's reactions to this slide in particular. There are plenty of good arguments to be made on the strengths of either side based on our experiences and what we see in the news cycles these days. I think much of the conversations center on the benefits and risks related to AI, and we're all pretty acutely aware of these. I will say that most people agree that AI has the potential to help us, but there's a definite level of perceived risk. From a business perspective, we see early adopters already jumping into the deep end, with those who I still consider to be part of the first wave, developing and implementing their strategies, really deciding where to focus, how much to invest, and how to address any skills deficits. All that is really being balanced with many questions. Ultimately, will it really yield the competitive advantage that it promises? I think yes. Now, anecdotally, I've heard many compare the adoption of AI to the cloud rollout to the mainstream computing. I was actually pretty shocked when I dug into this comparison. Let me show you what I mean. You get slightly different dates based on where you source the information, but for cloud release dates, so AWS came out in around August 2006. Google Cloud was April of 2008. Microsoft Azure, February 2010. And IBM Cloud was March of 2011. So about a 5-year rollout. And that doesn't even take into consideration the decades of R&D that really led up to this. For the AI timeline, let me set the stage a little with the R&D represented by ChatGPT. GPT-1 was released in June 2018. If you look a bit further down the line, GPT 3.5, which was really where most of us were introduced to generative AI, that was released in March 2022. And of course, the most recent version, ChatGPT 4, came at us in March of 2023. But in terms of the adoption of generative AI across mainstream computing, IBM Watson X was released in mid-May 2023. Later that year, Microsoft Copilot was released the beginning of November. Amazon Q followed towards the end of November, with Google Gemini rounding up the pack in early December. So really what occurred with cloud over a 5-year span took just under 8 months for AI. So if there was ever any doubt that they're going faster than anything we've ever seen before. So I asked ChatGPT what the attributes are of jobs that make them less likely to be replaced by AI. And it came back to me with this. So human judgment and complex decision making, especially if sometimes mixed with ethical considerations, complex and nuanced communications, social and emotional intelligence, creativity, innovation, and personalized learning and mentorship. I mean, these are attributes that describe much of what we do in finance. So this is a field that should be thought of as human-centric. AI, however, will augment humans in finance by enabling us to, achieve faster throughput with better accuracy and reliability, remove bias from assumptions and analysis, and identify subtle patterns and relationships in large and complex data sets, and much more, really enabling us to be stronger and faster finance professionals. I do believe that CFOs and CIOs will work together even more closely to hone the AI strategy and to identify the data that we'll need to feed these models. And all of that said, I think we do need to remember to take what AI gives us and then apply the human element. So in my professional experience, I found that what AI gives me is immensely helpful, but it's still my human inspiration and curiosity that starts the process. And when I look at the finished products, the majority still comes from my own personal experience and education and creativity and discernment. I've worked with a great cross-section of amazing companies in FP&A technologies, and I've seen it truly transform the office of the CFO. I've brought consolidations from weeks to days. I've enabled multiple budget iterations where a single cycle used to be backbreaking, and I've deployed forecasts sometimes performed several times a month where it used to be a struggle to do once a quarter. So with the integration of AI into FP&A processes, I truly see the future of finance as a team of smart humans leveraging the power of a strategic platform like Vena with a roadmap that embraces AI to the core. The top AI augmentations that the Office of the CFO really should be looking into. So on natural language processing, I'm not going to steal the thunder from Jason and Anton's demo, but I think Vena has done a really great job here. The ability to interact conversationally with Vena Copilot is going to arm CFOs with the details to have the discussions and ask the tough questions of their teams that may have previously gone unspoken. I've seen organizations embrace RPA, robotic process automation, to automate manual and repetitive tasks, things like data integrations, invoice processing, and report generations. These software robots can reason, accumulate knowledge, see patterns, and really adapt to new situations. Pattern and anomaly detection, I think, will really help us manage risks by pointing out the places in our data that we really need to focus on. Vena includes this capability, and I think it'll help to identify areas in our budgets and forecasts that may be errors, or help to highlight areas that the organization is making strategic changes and investments in. And then predicting outcomes. I think this is a close second to the natural language stuff. Taking the human element out of the equation will lead to new insights and unconventional scenarios and unforeseen relationships that may previously have been overlooked. So again, I think it's important that we all bring the human element back into the equation once AI has delivered its insights. And this to me really represents that next stage of finance professionals, really at all levels, shifting from number crunching to strategic advisory. And I don't foresee AI replacing humans in finance. However, I do feel like finance professionals with AI experience and skills may start to displace those without. Now, at this point, I'll turn it over to Jason, who will speak a little bit about Vena before taking us through the demo.
Thanks, guys. Bonjour, hello, my name is Jason Chen, and I'll be walking through the Vena platform. Now, since its inception in 2011, Vena has over 150,000 individual users across 1,700 customers, integrating with hundreds of different source systems. Vena proudly serves customers across a wide range of industries, including manufacturing, distribution, construction, healthcare, and many more. The way Vena has architected our complete planning platform means that you can address all of your mission-critical strategic processes, from finance-led planning, your core tactical operation, budgeting, forecasting, and recording, to extended planning, where you go wide and deep across your organization to bring in your more detailed planning models and dependent data sets, modeling drivers and calculations. Finally, to beyond planning, where you move to adjacent areas, including financial close management, incentive compensation management, and other mission-critical processes. You get to grow with the Vena platform over time, choosing the right path for you, all in Vena's single application, single user interface, and unified experience with Excel and CubeFlex. Now, in terms of today's demo, we'll be walking you through the Vena platform and data visualizations in Vena's Power BI embedded dashboards, and finally finishing off with our demonstration of Vena's Copilot feature. As you can see, Vena is a cloud-based platform. Today we're logging in using Chrome, but we're compatible across all different browsers as well as Mac and PC. We're logging in today using Frank's individual email address and password. Additionally, we can set up single sign-on if that's more convenient. Logging in as Frank will be presented with a dashboard of tasks that Frank has to complete, with overdue items listed first, ones that are in progress or on the horizon next, and finally, any view-only reports. As new tasks get added to the 2024 annual plan, or new processes get added to Frank's list, the individual items will show up in this panel here. Here, we have Vena Insights, or Power BI embedded into the Vena platform. We have many different dashboards that we have, but our foundation dashboard comes out of the box and can be aligned to your data set. The best part is we don't need a separate Power BI license, a separate data set, separate permissions or security. It's all housed and using the same features within Vena. Here, within our Power BI, we can leverage things like the filters that are aligned to the various different hierarchies that we have within Vena, analyzing different base scenarios. But with Power BI, we can drill down to, let's say, our US entity and have all of the KPIs, dashboards, and widgets update. We can even go one step further and drill through to the data, taking a look at the individual line items for our variance report. Moving on, within our dashboards, we also have some machine learning and AI capabilities. Here, within our OpEx dashboard, we have some key influencers for increases to our operating expense, highlighting that salaries and wages is a key driver. Now, that may be expected, but this is also telling us that sales is a driving influence to our OpEx increase. Within the dashboard, I can select the sales department and perhaps use this variance at the GL level to uncover that telecom subscriptions is driving that expense. So using machine learning, Power BI to analyze our performance. Next, within our Power BI tool, we also have anomaly detection and predictive forecast. Here, we're given a recommended band, and anytime our actuals exceed that band, we're given some anomalies here. Now, with your data set, we'll be able to drive significantly more insights. But again, here it is highlighting that sales is potentially unusually high. Additionally, we have some predictive forecasts that can ping off of various different forecasts that we have within the file. So here we have a reforecast that is being predicted out for the rest of the year. Now, finally, let's move to the star of our show today, which is our Vena Copilot feature. First, we'll select a model. We can have multiple models, each targeting different elements of the P&L, allowing for faster and more efficient results. We'll start today with looking at actuals versus budget. And we'll think of it from a perspective of a finance manager. Now imagine you're sitting in a strategy meeting with department heads and senior management discussing the company's financial performance and areas of improvement. You need precise data to make informed recommendations and drive effective strategy. During the meeting, the COO asks you about the performance of various departments in relation to their budget. So something a finance manager might ask is, rank the departments by variance between actuals and budget for last month. Without Vena Copilot, this would typically involve lengthy manual calculations and data validation. With Vena Copilot, you get accurate and real-time insights, allowing you to make data-driven decisions at any time. This empowers you to provide immediate and precise answers during meetings, enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of strategic decisions and discussions. Here, we are given a ranking of our various different departments. I can like it as correct, have it improve the model, or I can download even a report that is showing me the underlying information. Now next, let's imagine that you're an admin manager responsible for managing the office supplies budget. You need to present detailed insights into your office supplies expense before the end of the quarter. So in this case, what are the total office supplies expenses incurred by the admin department so far in this quarter? Again, traditionally, finance managers are the primary source of financial data, requiring them to fulfill numerous data requests from various different departments. This adds extra activities to everybody's day and can lead to delays in obtaining necessary information. With Vena Copilot, you provide tools for self-service to empower individual contributors. This saves time and money, allowing managers and team members to access the data they need directly and instantly. Now, the final use case that we'll go through today is imagine you're an executive in a board meeting with stakeholders, discussing the company's financial performance. Mid-presentation, one of the board members asks you about revenue growth and how it varies across business units. We might ask it like, what is my year-over-year revenue growth in May 2023, broken down by business unit? Again, traditionally, executives might often face delays when seeking specific financial insights during meetings. They might have to say, we don't know right now, or promise to come back with an answer. With Vena Copilot, you have the confidence that you have the answers when you need them. And you can instantly access accurate real-time data during meetings, providing immediate response to critical questions. Now, in conclusion, Vena empowers us to streamline our financial processes, make smarter decisions, and achieve our goals with confidence. With Vena, we can access real-time data, generate insightful reports, create dynamic visualizations, all of which enhance our ability to manage finances effectively. The Copilot feature, powered with AI, allows us to ask natural language questions and receive instant and accurate answers. Thank you for your time today. I'll pass it on to Anton now to speak more about Vena Copilot.
Thank you so much, Jason. So I want to thank ModelCom for inviting me to speak today and discuss Vena's perspective on generative AI. I think Kaz and Jason did a great job outlining both the opportunities and challenges that AI presents to the finance community. And those same opportunities and challenges are used as the basis for designing Vena Copilot. At a high level, Vena Copilot is an AI assistant for FP&A. It is designed to help finance teams scale their expertise across their organizations. It is designed to let finance teams adopt AI on their own terms, ensuring transparency throughout the adoption process. One of the challenges with AI adoption is knowing where to invest. So as Cass presented earlier, we saw that the cycle that took a number of years for our cloud providers is only taken really a year and a half or 2 years for AI. So things are evolving very quickly. But this is where we, as a software provider, have a unique role to play in terms of thought leadership. So as you can imagine, we did a lot of research figuring out how do we want to build Copilot, how do we want to position it. And the more we researched, the more we heard to focus on things that are highly repeatable. And that is why we opted to focus on helping finance people answer ad hoc queries from their businesses. So we know that you get questions from your stakeholders. Hey, can you get me this metric? Can you calculate this particular KPI? So that is a very highly repeatable use case. And that means two things. One is it provides a lot of benefit. And two is that it can be incorporated into your routine workflow
making sure that AI can evolve over time. But our intention is not only to speed up this process, but it also to allow everyone in your organization to be able to draw out their own insights, allowing finance professionals to spend more time on strategic initiatives and business partnering, but also to make your business more agile. And this is the true source of the competitive advantage. Ultimately, as finance people, it is our job to make sure that capital is allocated in the best possible way. And by allowing our stakeholders, the people with the real business knowledge, the people who are making business decisions, talking to customers every day, by giving them access to data to make decisions, we are really able to help our corporate agility. We are able to really make data a source of a competitive advantage for our business. So to really accomplish that, we needed to ensure that the setup is easy. And on average, we have seen that an AI model creation takes about 6 minutes in Vena. That is for first-time users. So of course, you can imagine that the second time we do it, it's much quicker. But on top of just the ease of setup, we need to make sure that the AI model is flexible enough to handle business-specific inquiries, which we address through our proprietary rules engine. So the way that the rules engine works is we preload a number of common FP&A topical questions into the big question bank that Vena Copilot is trained on. And then we allow you to add on specific rules that really make your business unique. So allowing you to calculate specific KPIs or some specific insights that are very much your proprietary business technology. So of course, we do not know how those things are calculated, but we really empower you to make Vena Copilot be able to perform those complicated tasks. And of course, the last thing is security. And we can guarantee security by relying on Microsoft Azure OpenAI. And we really already encompass all of the security protocols that Vena has, like data permissions, application permissions, and we really allow Azure OpenAI to really sit on top of all of those great things that we've done. So really this conversational back and forth is the first step, and we're actively working on more use cases, such as being able to create Excel templates like Jason shared earlier, PowerPoint generation, and predictive forecasting to truly drive the power of AI into your finance organizations. So I spoke a lot, but really at a high level, we're trying to achieve 4 things with Vena Copilot. First is that it can be flexible, but easy to set up. We want to empower everyone in your organization to interact with your data and accelerate decision-making. We want to really double down our investment on the Microsoft ecosystem. So this is built on Microsoft Azure OpenAI, and of course, being able to download the report downloads in Excel, which from there onwards we can leverage, Microsoft Copilot. And last but not least, it's all about security. We know that we have to earn the trust of your company to make sure that all your data is fully secure. So thank you. That's it for my part.
Thank you, and then Jason and Kaz. Now we're gonna enter the question part. I encourage you, if you have any question, feel free to ask the question directly in the Q&A section. The first one should be addressed to Kaz. The question is, do we have the right data inside the FP&A platform to do a comprehensive job of predictive forecasting?
We definitely do have a lot of information to work with. So historical actuals, prior budgets and forecasts, including financial and non-financial information, all of that will help to feed a certain level of predictive modeling and anomaly detection. However, I do think that many companies will look to have a more robust predictive modeling capability using data like industry and competitor information mixed with large database of transactional information from corporate data lakes. In these scenarios, I definitely see a corporate analytics platform running through all of the many predictive model possibilities, with the best scenarios of things like customer retention, product demand, things like that, being loaded into the Vena budgeting and forecasting models to then model out the full financials and see how those top 2 or 3 scenarios really play out from an overall perspective. So I kind of see both outcomes, and they're not mutually exclusive either. So you could definitely have the predictive capabilities, really offering a lot within the context of the FP&A platform, but also from a broader perspective as well outside of Vena.
Thank you, Kaz, for the answer. We'll move to the second question, and that one will be addressed to Anton. Anton, what are your thoughts on building company policy for permission on the use of AI in the Office of Finance?
Yeah, so that's very interesting. And the reason it's interesting is because when I think about, security and, permissions for AI, it's really kind of a combination of software procurement as well as data governance, right? And most of the companies we speak to have a very robust policy around how they procure software, the kinds of checks and balances that they have to go through. There's also this element of data governance, right? And I think there's still a lot of work to be done by companies adopting data processing tools. And I think AI kind of falls on the crux of that. Ultimately, it's the responsibility of corp security and IT at each one of our customers to make sure that they have a good understanding of where their data is being stored, where it's being used, and how AI models are being trained. And that is why it's really kind of, you really get a huge advantage by relying on a provider such as Microsoft, because you know that their primary business model is to make sure that they're enterprise ready. So what they can do is they can guarantee that your data will never be shared with OpenAI to train their models, but also that every customer that one customer's data does not get used to train another customer's model. So there's really a lot of segregation of duties. There's really a lot of kind of policies in place to make sure that that doesn't happen. But I think, to answer the question more directly, I think there needs to be a cohesive policy around AI. And I think that policy has to touch on both, software procurement and data management. And I see there's a question from Rob. Was Vena impacted by the Microsoft outage? No, we were not impacted by the Microsoft outage last week. Vena Copilot was still up and running. So that worked really well for us. So hope that answers your question here.
Good, thanks, Anton. Last question that was asked, turning back to you again, Kaz. Do you see challenge with companies becoming overly reliant on output from AI, analysis, output, etc.?
Yeah, thank you, Vika. I said it a couple times when speaking to some of my slides, but I really do think we need to guard against becoming over-reliant on AI. So I think it delivers a lot of insights to us, but in the end, we really do need to add our personal experience and education and discernment and our own thoughts and ideas in and around the subjects we're working on once AI does deliver its insights. I kind of think of AI like a junior analyst, at least at this point. I give it a lot of tasks to do, but I'm always checking its work very closely to make sure that it's right and it's accurate and the context is appropriate.
Good, thanks. So I'll just stop sharing my screen.
I see a question from Joshua that I can address. Yeah, sure. So does Vena Copilot restrict information to individual users according to the security permission? So we call that data permissions in Vena. And yeah, I can confirm that we do respect the data permission. So for example, if I work in marketing and I have my permissions limited to the marketing department, I would not be able to answer questions about the finance department. So we do respect those permissions.
Okay, and then I see another question. Are there any Vena integration with Google Cloud?
I'm going to pass to Jason. I think he's more familiar with that part of the product.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in terms of source systems, really we're source system agnostic, meaning that we can integrate with all source systems as long as they can produce a flat file export. And in terms of Google Cloud, I think work with Kaz and Luca to receive some more information about that specific instance.
Maybe I repeat myself, but from what Jason and Anton have talked about regarding the generative AI with Copilot in Vena, as a FP&A specialist, I can see a lot of traction in the future for this kind of technology in AI. I know, Kaz, I've been through all the different type of AI that will probably be involved in FP&A in the future. But on my side, I see a lot of traction in the short term with this kind of AI. Again, thank you everyone for joining us. Feel free to contact us if you have any question regarding specifically ModelCom, Vena. You have our contact information on the screen right now. And let's make it the end of the call. Thanks again.